What is the price of a city? For most, it is the heart of their world. For one man, it was simply an asset, to be bought, sold, or even burned. How do you become the richest man in the most powerful republic on earth? Do you build a better product? Do you offer a better service? Or do you profit from chaos, fear, and the suffering of others? This is the story of Marcus Licinius Crassus, a name many have forgotten, but a man who in his time was richer than Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk are in ours. This is the story of how he amassed a fortune so vast it could fund armies, control politicians, and rival the treasury of Rome itself. And it is the story of his most infamous financial weapon, a private fire brigade that only put out fires after he had bought the burning building for almost nothing. Our story begins in the bloody chaos of the 1st century BC. The Roman Republic was tearing itself apart with civil wars. The dictator Sulla had just come to power and initiated the proscriptions, a terrifying list of his political enemies whose property could be seized and who could be killed on sight. While others saw terror and death, a young Marcus Crassus saw the greatest business opportunity of his life. Using his political connections, he would find out in advance whose names would be on the next proscription list. He would then approach the terrified victims, offering to buy their magnificent villas and vast estates for a fraction of their true worth. The alternative for the victims was to lose everything and their lives. They always sold. Crassus began to acquire some of the most valuable real estate in Rome for pennies on the dollar. His fortune built upon the foundations of political murder. But this was just the beginning. His true genius, his most diabolical financial innovation, was born from the city's greatest vulnerability: fire. Rome was a tinderbox of tightly packed wooden buildings. Fires were constant and catastrophic. And incredibly, Rome had no public fire department. Crassus saw this not as a civic problem, but as a business model. He created Rome's first and only private fire brigade, a highly trained army of 500 slaves. But they didn't exist to save the city. They existed to serve Crassus's ledger. When a building caught fire, Crassus and his brigade would rush to the scene, but they would not throw a single bucket of water. As the flames devoured the property, Crassus himself would approach the distraught, weeping owner and make him an offer. "Sell me your burning building and the one next to it, which is about to catch fire, for a ridiculously low price." The desperate owner, watching his entire life turn to ash, had no choice. He would agree to the humiliating terms. Only then, once the deed was signed and the property belonged to Crassus, would he order his fire brigade to extinguish the flames. He would then use his army of slave architects and builders to renovate the damaged property, or rebuild it entirely, and then rent it out for a massive profit. He wasn't just in the real estate business, he was in the disaster business. Through this method, it was said that a huge portion of Rome eventually came to be owned by him. Crassus's empire was not just built on real estate. He owned silver mines, vast agricultural lands, and thousands of highly skilled slaves, from scribes to architects, which he would rent out for profit. His fortune was estimated to be around 200 million sesterces, a sum equal to the entire annual budget of the Roman Republic. He was, for all intents and purposes, as rich as the state itself. But in Rome, Wealth alone was not enough. To truly matter, you needed political power and military glory. So Crassus used his money as a key. He began giving out massive, interest-free loans to ambitious young politicians, making them forever indebted to him. His most famous debtor? A young, charismatic, and deeply ambitious man named Julius Caesar. Without Crassus's financial backing, it is likely Caesar's political career would have been over before it even began. This financial power bought him a seat at the most exclusive table in the world. Alongside the great general Pompey the Great and his protege, Julius Caesar, he formed the first triumvirate, an alliance of the three most powerful men in Rome who secretly controlled the fate of the Republic. Pompey had the military fame, Caesar had the popular support, Crassus had the money that fueled them both. But there was one thing Crassus craved that his money could not buy: military glory. He was haunted by the reputations of Pompey and Caesar. He was the rich man in a society that worshipped warriors. Driven by this deep-seated insecurity and an insatiable greed for even more wealth, the 60-year-old Crassus embarked on a reckless, vainglorious military campaign to conquer Parthia, the rich empire to the east. It was a complete disaster. In 53 BC, at the Battle of Carrhae, Crassus's legions were outmaneuvered and annihilated by the Parthian horse archers. His son was killed in the battle, and Crassus himself was captured. What happened next has become a legend of greed. The Parthians, knowing Crassus's reputation for insatiable avarice, supposedly executed him by pouring molten gold down his throat. Their final brutal message: "You thirsted for gold? Now drink it." So what does this brutal story of Rome's richest man teach us today? It's a terrifying lesson about the dark side of opportunity and the corrosive nature of insatiable greed. Crassus was a financial genius who saw opportunity where others saw only chaos. But his fortune was built on a foundation of human misery, a chilling reminder that some of history's greatest wealth has been extracted, not created. History reminds us that a fortune, no matter how vast, can feel meaningless if it doesn't earn the one thing its owner truly craves, be it respect, glory, or purpose. Crassus had all the money in the world, but it wasn't enough. His desperate quest for the one thing he couldn't buy led him to risk everything and lose it all. It's a timeless warning that the relentless pursuit of more can become a destructive fire of its own, one that no amount of money can ever extinguish. If you believe these lessons from the past are crucial for understanding our present, please show your support with a like. And to continue this journey through the forgotten financial stories that shaped our world, be sure to subscribe.